Hey everybody, Jem Schofield of the C47 and another episode of Gearbox 2.0. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the switch system from FJ Westcott, so let's get started. All right kids, it's another week and another episode, and it's Friday, so it's a little crazy outside. I've heard airplanes going overhead, dogs barking, ATVs. It's just a mess, and that's what Friday in Oregon's like, I guess. But we're going to be talking about this thing here, or at least some of these things here, and how you can use them in production. By the way, I'm done with speed rings. I put in my time, I paid my dues, I've set those things up, I have broken them down, I have messed up my hands, and I think that they've probably contributed to carpal tunnel, but there you have it. And I am excited now that most of the manufacturers out there that are creating modifiers have rapid deployment softboxes. Now, I'm a huge fan of big modifiers. In fact, I have the DP kit and the Booklight kit, which I designed with FJ Westcott. And I love those things. I use them all the time, inside, outside. But there are definitely times where you don't want to set up other stands and flags and floppy cutters to modify the spill from those sources. The whole point is that you want big, soft sources, but you need to lean on and use soft boxes sometimes. So I love and have been using the Rapid boxes from Westcott for a long time. They make them in a lot of different sizes. But what they've done relatively recently is they have introduced this switch system. And what is that? Well, if I'm using a light, which many of us are in production, that has a Bowens mount, then I obviously need a Bowens mount on my softbox. But if I'm then moving over to, and I have rented a light that uses a different mount, in this case, this is the TIFFEN, which has a Profoto mount, then how am I going to use that softbox with that particular light fixture? Well, that's where switch comes in, because as you can see here, I'm quickly and easily changing from the Bowens mount to a Profoto mount. Now I can mount that softbox on this other light. So what that does is it gives us tremendous flexibility to make an investment into a modifier and then use it with different fixtures that have different mounts. And this carries forward to strobes and to speed lights, and there are a lot of these different inserts for different light fixtures on the market. My main application is going to be for video production and for obviously creating moving images. But for people who are in the stills world, they can make an investment or investments into different sizes and shapes of these rapid boxes or the beauty dish, and then they can go ahead and get different inserts for the different fixtures that they're using. This is the Octa-L, the largest Octa that they have in the series. I love to use this because, again, I like to create much larger, broader sources from smaller sources. Great big light source. But the one thing that I would absolutely get is a grid. The grid is going to take that light and that modifier in particular and allow you to control that spill tremendously. So my father-in-law was kind enough to sit in as talent for this setup. And what we have here is the 120D2. It is being pushed through the Rapid Box Octa-L. And this is what the shot looks like just turning on the key light. So can see what that's like. There's no grid in front of it right now. And then I'm going over and I've got a little bit of a kicker light here. It's just a 1x1 flex, which also has a little grid on it to direct that light a little bit more. And then walking in a little bit of fill here. So it's the inside of the Westcott 6-in-1 reflector, and that's just filling in the light on the left side of the face. Now we cut to this right now, turning on the same light with the grid on it. And the thing to obviously look at is the background itself. And you can see that it is considerably different. Now I've had to make some adjustments to ISO for this shot because it is, of course, sucking up a lot of that light. Again, turning on that kicker light and then walking in that fill. And it's the same exact frame. The only difference here really is putting that grid in front of that giant softbox and how much it handles that spill on the background. Honestly, if you're buying into a softbox system, if there's a grid option, go for it. and hopefully that gives you an idea of what this switch system is. I do know that generally during the holidays they have some specials, so check that out. I'll put some links below, and I'll see you guys next time on Gearbox.